Hello, good morning, good midday, good night. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the online conference Under the Viral Shadow. We're very happy to have you here for the next 7-8 hours. And we welcome all the artists in the exhibition Under the Viral Shadow who are all with us today to speak about their projects. We welcome all the speakers who are also with us today from different disciplines of science and humanities to enlarge the knowledge in our discussion. And of course, we want to welcome and very embrace the worldwide audience we are expecting here today. And we also want to invite you to put questions and comments in the chat here in the YouTube live stream. So instead of a Berlin-based on-site conference at Art Laboratory Berlin, we decided again, like a year ago, to shift a digital version due to COVID-19 crisis and the challenges, obstacles, and desired physical mobilities. However, we have come to embrace great advantages in realizing the conference Under the Viral Shadow online. Enlarged virtual audience, speakers from various continents.
Taking time zone challenges into consideration, we are here today with 13 speakers, of which we have, first of all, the exhibiting artists from the exhibition Under the Viral Shadow, and with them bright critical minds from art and media theory, biophysics, and computer science, design, and cultural studies. As Regine mentioned, we've prepared chat options on the YouTube live stream to comment or leave a question, which we will collect and pick up during the discussion. We wish you all a great conference with challenging ideas, fruitful conversation, and a good connection.
Of course, we have a lot of thank yous to say. And we are very grateful, first of all, for our supporters, the Berlin Senate, and this project, the conference, the group exhibition, and workshops, and events and talks would not be possible to realize without the funding of the Hauptstadt Kulturfonds here in Berlin and the ongoing support by the Berlin Senate. So thank you very, very much. Also, we want to thank our media partners, Art in Berlin, Carola Hartlieb, and Quad Magazine, who is also live streaming this event. Thank you so much, Lula and Meritzel. And of course, our cooperation partner, Duke Kunshan University near Shanghai. Also, we want to very much thank you all, our team, Tuce Erel, Jana Piotrowski, Madeleine Hammer, and of course, also Linus Kaufhold from Seeberg Embrace, who is with us here in the Studio Deussen in Berlin. Maybe we post some photos of the studio later on. And we're very grateful that he is our technical frame, so to say, for the online conference. Of course, also we want to thank from the bottom of our heart, Tim Deussen, our friend, colleague, and photographer, and also who is hosting us today in Studio Deussen, at least here, Tuce, Chris, and me, and Linus to set a basis to the online conference.
So, to put some context to the project, the exhibition, the conference, the workshops, and the talks we'll be having later this autumn, our digital technologies were developed in the aftermath of the Second World War, in part through interdisciplinary collaborations, such as the Macy's Conference between 1946 and 53, where cybernetics specifically selected biological models to develop computers and proposals for artificial intelligence. But these early models were often intentionally neglected the myriad complexities of life forms. In recent years, an increasing complexity has also become part of human-made technologies, especially in machine learning and artificial intelligence. Human-made networks have also become increasingly complex, often beyond the comprehension of the engineers who build or service them, in turn forming their own ecosystems and even ecologies. Meanwhile, biology, especially biotechnology, has been informed and even largely shaped by engineering and cybernetics. More recently, artists working with hacker ethos and skills, including all the artists in this exhibition, have critically examined and produced new developments in computer science and biotechnology and life sciences. And in doing so, they aim to create ethical and aesthetic territory for discussions relevant to our world in the 21st century. Art Laboratory's initial aim when we began this project in 2019 was to explore various networks, biological, cybernetic, and social, how they inform, influence, and manipulate one another. We saw and still see hybrid arts as a territory for critical transdisciplinary engagement with both technology and ecology, as well as their inevitable intermingling. Hybrid arts are also able to combine theory from both science and post-humanities with practice. We were less than 6 months into the project when the pandemic struck, adding even more layers upon this topic. A biological threat to human society radically changed our lives, in turn, changing the way we used and were enveloped by technology. If 2 years ago, it still seemed possible to tickle the strands apart, it no longer appears possible to do so today. Each of the positions in this exhibition explores not just the impact of the life sciences on technology or the impact of technology on the life sciences, but a whole set of what we could call cybernetic traditions that seek to blur the boundaries between biological and artificial life, as well as challenge 20th century notions of intelligence.
Let us quickly go through the presented artworks, and I will share screen, and here we are. Okay. So just to give you a little impression of the ongoing exhibition, Under the Viral Shadow, Networks in Times of Technoscience and Infection. This is our source books that shares the research with, no problem. That's what you see here is our source books that shares the research on all exhibited artists and artworks. This work by Benjamin Bacon that you can see here in the center and here on the left is it's a set of 2 extraplanetary machines that investigate and apply machine learning methods of speech-to-text recognition to explore sub-audition through the degradation of meaning of spoken language by decoding spoken word into kinetic energy, information, transmission, and visual representation with light, color, patterns, and reflections. The machine number 1 that you see on the left, recognition, decoding, and transmitter, captures human voice and directional position as well as other environmental data of the gallery space, then encodes it into Morse code that is communicated kinetically through solenoid tapping, transmitting the decoded message to machine number 2 that you see here on the right, and we position the machine number 2 towards the gallery window. And the machine number 2 as receiver, visual pattern, emitter, it collects and reinterprets the transmitted information and transforms it into nonverbal and non-textual language through light and color pattern emission that is projected back into the space through a mechanism of mirrored surfaces and a rotating cylinder with slits. Benjamin will tell us a lot more later on about it. And Vivian Zhu, only to give you a little glimpse, because she will go into detail in a few minutes, with the really impressive electric skin and sonic skin from the Skin series. Her series explores the future of human perception and how emerging possibilities in wearable technology can reinvent our relationship with our environment, using the skin as an interface and venue for experimentation. Her series explores the possible co-evolution of human and technology, seeing the 2 as hybrid communication systems. So you see here the electric skin, a variable that extends the functionality of the skin to sense electrostatic flux in the environment and translate that information into touch sensation. Or you see here the sonic skin, and I'd only say very few to not take away too much information for our next panel. You see here the Sonic Skin as a sound and wearable art piece that explores the concept of human-machine co-evolution. And in the exhibition, we have a very impressive piece, The Engineered Antibody by Anna Dumitriou. And it's a result of a residency at the Leo Lab for Synthetic Evolution at the University of California, Irvine. Engineered antibody is a beaded necklace based on an antibody purified from the blood of an HIV-positive patient. Made up of more than 400 handmade beads, it both represents and physically contains the actual 21 amino acids of the antibody in their precise order and folded into the precise protein structure. The beads are then attached to textiles that have been dyed using Kuoma Sea Brilliant Blue, originally a wool dye, and nowadays used as a stain in laboratories to visualize and separate proteins. And we will, of course, also hear much, much more and more thoroughly by Anna in our next panel. Here you have a detailed of the piece that we intentionally exhibited very historically. We can discuss this later in our panel A. Here you have Jean Cogan's piece, Abraham. Jean created the project Abraham to produce an autonomous artificial artist, AAA, a sovereign spirit that creates art produced through decentralized artificial intelligence. The idea builds upon promising techniques from machine learning, cryptoeconomics, and computer art. It is a logical progression from decades of research by artists, scientists, and philosophers, contemplating the nature of creativity and consciousness in their relationship to technology. By autonomous, Cogan means that an autonomous artificial agent, so he calls it the HAA, demonstrates its own agency or will independent from that of its creators. And we also, of course, can discuss this with Jean, who will be with us in the panel C, Critical Thoughts on Artificial Intelligence. You see the work again, which you also can access online, and a view to the exhibition. And Jean also held a workshop, AI for Artists, in the end of August. The artist Sarah Grant has a focus on radio art and computer networking. She develops artworks as educational tools and workshops that demystify computer networking and radio technology. Physarum Topologies highlights the natural tendency for so-called slime molds, Physarum polycephalum, to create efficient distributed networks between food sources. The slime mold is a living organism, a single motile cell made of many thousands to millions of nuclei, functioning as a single foraging unit. Despite having no central nervous system, slime mold shows a remarkable ability to solve difficult engineering problems in a relatively short period of time. In the installation on the left here, you see the whole installation. On the right, you see a few details. Sarah Grant presents different plexiglass boxes lit from below, each with a culture of slime mold and several oat flakes positioned as network nodes in one of different computer network topologies. Over the course of several weeks, we have been able to observe how each Physarum specimen routes its way through their assigned topology. And of course, also in the conference in our panel B, you can listen more thoroughly Sarah explaining this really amazing project. Here is another detail of the growing slime mold, star topology. And Sarah Grant realized a really impressive workshop, plant-to-plant protocol, a few weeks ago, creating networks and let them run through plants. And Sarah Grant, together with her partner, an artist and critical engineer, Dania Vasiliev, they both realized the amazing network shop last weekend. And it was very impressive how we were learning, as Sarah always emphasized, not only to demystify technology, but also to create networks and Ethernet and learn about IP addresses, etc., to autonomously be possible to follow networks that are with a GUI rather more hidden than visible. And we hear much more in panel B. And then last but not least, and we also hear more in our upcoming panel, I just quickly wanted to show this also it's in the exhibition, some exhibition views by a work, Akia Bot as Post-Singularity and Post-Climate Change Life Form by Anna Dumitriou and Alex May. And the work takes the form of an underwater robotic installation that explores what life might mean in a post-singularity, post-climate change future. The project is based on the latest research about archaea, ancient microorganisms, now considered to be one of the 3 domains of life. Archaea believed the oldest life forms on Earth originally evolved near hot deep sea vents when the Earth was still in the process of cooling down. They will be ideally suited to the hot, acid rain polluted future that humans are in the process of creating. And as I said, we hear much more about this biomimetic Akia Bot in our upcoming panel. So what we have ahead in our conference, and this is another shot from the exhibition. So we have in panel A, upcoming right in a minute, we will discuss bodies, organisms, and machines, exploring the artworks by Vivian Zhu, Anna Dumitriou, and Alex May. Then we have panel B, digital and biological networks, based around the work of Sarah Grant, Daniel Vassiliev, but also including special insights into slime molds by biophysicist Christina Oettmeyer, whose biocomputing process is explored in the artwork Physarum Topologies. Then we will be blessed by a keynote going viral by Roberta Buiani, a media theorist from the Fields Institute for Research into Mathematical Sciences, as well as the University of York and Toronto. Roberta has also been working on a book on biological and computer viruses for several years, so we can be very looking forward that she will share her knowledge with us. And finally, we have in panel C, critically reflecting artificial intelligence, starting with the work of Jean Cogan and Benjamin Bacon, with special critical contributions by media theorist and artist Alexander König, and Katja Spiel from computer science and design and culture studies, also thinking about the bias of artificial intelligence. So I think we're going to have an interesting, very intense program. As we said, please get involved, send us your questions or comments through the chat function in the YouTube live stream. So let's confer, and thank you for being here.